We should be live on all YouTubes. So today, if you're watching the replay, CYMATICS officially bought out Producergrind. Now, what does this mean for the producer community? Does it mean a good thing? Does it mean a bad thing? We will see, and I will break this down in real time. We're actually going to go back in time and listen to part of my interview I did with Producergrind back in 2020, I believe, where I predicted this, and I predicted the exact business model behind it. Okay, so here is what we're going to get into today. Firstly, I want to say hello to everybody watching the replay and everybody live. But to me, I think we need to have a discussion live because we need to understand the implementation, whatever the word is, implications, the repercussions of the impact this will create. And we're going to get you guys' temperature on this. I took a quick poll on the YouTube tab here, the community tab. About 100 people voted. I said, CYMATICS just bought Producergrind. How do you guys feel about it? The first answer was like, why would they do that? The second answer was congratulations. Third answer was LOL. Fourth answer was worried. Fifth answer was we'll see. It looks like the majority of folks are just saying we'll see. So this lets me know that a lot of people aren't emotionally charged about this. And I want to shout out Mad Cows here. What up, Tall Genius? KB's here. Frenchie the producer. North is here. So firstly, before we get into this whole analysis and live reaction today about the news that, again, Producergrind, the producer community staple media outlet that praised industry producers and put them on a pedestal and gave them the shine they deserved, is officially bought out and purchased by CYMATICS, which has a very interesting reputation in the music production space. Me personally, I never found interest in the owner, Steven from CYMATICS, for many different reasons. We had issues in the past. I tried to look past the issues. The man still acts the same exact way. We're going to break that down. That's my personal opinion. Okay, this is not of Producergrind's opinion. I personally love what Dylan's created. I personally love Producergrind. I personally think it's one of the greatest. It's like the MTV of, the music production space. And, to pass along such a relic and such a cultural icon of Producergrind over to Steven from CYMATICS, specifically, there's only one person in all of the producer community. I wouldn't even call him in the producer community. I think he's putting on a mask to try to act like he's in the producer community. But there's only one person, okay, one person outside of Curtis King, but there's one person that will always get the smoke, and that is Steven, specifically Steven from CYMATICS. And it's for many different reasons behind the scenes. I talk about it in my Producergrind interview. Now, this live stream that you guys are watching right here is evidence. And I will say this, if my interview disappears off Producergrind, you will know exactly who did it, who's the ego monster behind it, and who's the narcissistic leader called Steven from CYMATICS. I swear on everything. If you guys see this interview, which is the highest ranking interview on Producergrind's live stream tab, because we had to go live during 2020, this is the pandemic, so I never had a chance to pull up. But we have the most streamed by almost a factor of 3 live stream on the Producergrind's channel. It's me going really in depth. It's a 3-hour conversation I had with Dylan. Again, at first I want to say, Dylan, I'm proud of what Dylan's created. He's put in the work. He wanted to protect producers. He's always been humble to let other people lead. He wrote, he gave a platform for a lot of folks. Letter L Beats. He's given a platform for, I'm going to forget a lot of folks. D Mills, was it? Forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. Dang, it's been a minute. He's given a platform for J Beats. Shout out to J Beats. He's given a platform for TB Digital. So TB, in my opinion, kind of resurrected the energy behind Producergrind because Dylan stepped away from being in front. Dylan was always talking about this, by the way. And again, we love Dylan. There's no shade, no hate. It's all familial love with Dylan. We love Dylan from Producergrind. Now, he let TB kind of be the front man because Dylan, he always talked about he wants to get into real estate. He wants to get into investing. He's a businessman. So he's thinking like, how does he build businesses? That's what he does. And so cheers to Dylan for, positioning it to give leadership over to a different CEO. So now let's be fair here to say, how did they sell Producergrind? Was it just, now most people think businesses are just bought with a lump sum of cash and, you give them $2 million and then you're buying the business. It's not how businesses are purchased. There's many different options. In short, you have cash offers, you have cash plus equity offers, and you have full equity, no cash offers. That's called seller financing. crashed. Can you guys hear me on the YouTube? Let me know. Just say yes. Out of nowhere, right when I'm dropping bombs, FL Studio just, I don't know how it happened. It just magically crashed. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Because there's people behind the scenes. You know, there's Josh from ImageLine. One of the reasons why ImageLine can't grow is because of Josh. Okay, you can hear me now? All right, cool. I'm going to reload FL. But if my FL audio doesn't come back, this is a real life conspiracy. All right, we got the little thing. Maybe it just glitched. Yeah, we'll say it's a glitch. Hold on, y'all. This is real life stuff. I'm pulling up my tutorial template, so this should work. So it might be a little noisy. There we go. Okay, you might hear me twice. So let's turn this off. Found that strange. My FL randomly glitched. Is that the powers that be trying to put their foot on the neck of somebody who always leads to truth? This is what I mean. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of spiritual warfare you guys don't see behind the scenes. A lot of it. What up, Dantana? There's a lot of spiritual warfare you guys don't see because you don't have to front line it. People like myself, MG the Future, you know, we really try to protect the producer community from all the lies and all the shenanigans. Okay, there's barely any leaders in the producer community for that reason, because everybody will sell out. And this is no shade to Dylan. I'm saying that everybody will sell out, you know, to some kind of sponsor. They'll sell out to not really telling the truth and kind of bending the truth to fit the narrative. They'll sell out by throwing their own people under the bus. You know, there's many ways you could sell out. And so if you guys didn't know, let's see how many people are in here before I start dropping bombs. We have 96 people in here. I'm going to turn off ads. I don't even know how to do this. Can I turn off ads? Let's turn that off because I don't want ads on this right now. Let's turn ads off. All right, ads are off. So if an ad pops up, let me know. They're supposed to be off. So guys, we got to talk as a producer community because I've been fighting for the producer community for years. Ever since 2020 when I proposed the producer union. It was not a typical union. Okay, it was a union. It was a unified force, not a union. It was a unified force. And we're going to go back to the Producergrind page. Like I said, if evidence of this live stream, if my interview disappears magically from the Producergrind live stream tab, you know who did it. Steven from CYMATICS. Okay, I want you guys to understand that because I did an interview with Steven on the CYMATICS show some years ago. Did a whole masterclass, which I don't even know if he sells it or tries to use it to get people's memberships. I never got a back end on it. And come to find out, you know, I did all this, flew to Atlanta, did all this to, you know, do the episode in the podcast. Then because he gets emotional because I go live on the Producergrind channel and I call him out, and you guys will hear me call him out in the practices that I see behind the scenes. You will hear me call him out. And then right after this interview, guess what disappeared? The BusyWorks Beats CYMATICS podcast show interview just magically disappeared from the YouTube page. So we know who's doing it behind the scenes, and they blocked me on Instagram for that reason. Okay, now real businessmen, they stand up to their competition. They talk to their competition. You guys have seen me go against Dame Taylor, Curtis King, Weaver Beats. I never backed out. I never blocked them on social media like a pussy. Like I got on live stream and I talked to them face on and we had a conversation, whether I agree with them or not. Okay, so when people block me, it shows me how whack they are and how soft they are. Okay, so if this disappears, this is evidence that I'm exactly right about what I'm saying. Okay, so I want y'all to keep an eye on that. Now, I'm gonna pull up for everybody who's here. We have, 115 people here, so thank you guys for being here. Now I'm gonna play a clip from the Producergrind interview here. So it says, so I'm gonna play it here.
At a discounted rate, a monthly rate to where everyone can
y'all
tap
see
in.
that?
Is that, do you need to do more than that? Or is the people that are happy downloading these kits and like, yo, I made this fire beat using these kits that I got for a really good price.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna download this because
Does it need?
not they. I don't want to put this on Dylan. We're going to download this in real time because I already know when leadership changes, they try to rid all the evidence. So let's download this in real time. We are doing this. I'm getting my copy. I probably already have it somewhere, but I'm just downloading it again for safekeeping. All right. So check. Can y'all hear me? My CPU might be going nuts. So if my mic blows out, it's the CPU. So let's hear from the Producergrind interview what I had to say.
I need the chat to hit me with the spice emojis because I'm about to unleash some internal flames.
My voice
on
is like
everybody.
2 octaves higher.
Let me hit the button. Let me hit the button.
Hit us with the spice emoji or whatever. What's that little bell pepper called? The little.
Oh, shit. Say it again.
Hit me with
Oh,
the
little
pepper emoji, y'all.
I don't know.
Little red pepper.
Yeah, little red pepper emoji.
Because you gotta give me time to get this out. I'll be a little bit long-winded, but I want to hear your
Now, again, to frame what we're about to see, I might wait till this video is downloaded. Let me actually wait till this is downloaded because I don't want the audio crackling and popping. So I just want to do I want to acknowledge you guys because we're at 130 people here, and I appreciate every soul here. What up, Dan Santa? Oh, thank you for being a channel member too. I unlocked channel memberships too, by the way. But firstly, I want to thank everybody for being here. If you guys didn't know, I know the mic's a little scratchy. It's because my CPU's going nuts downloading the video because I already know they're going to try to get rid of it. We need to understand that producer grind selling. Okay, firstly, we love Dylan. Take Dylan out of the equation. What does it truly mean? Okay, CYMATICS, a company who does not have a great reputation, especially amongst the content creators and the leaders behind the music producer community. I want to make a very clear line. There's content creators who make stuff for the producer community, and then there's leaders, okay, in the producer community. Just because somebody makes videos and has views does not mean they're a leader. Trust me, behind the scenes, there are very, very, very few people who will protect you guys, who truly want you guys to succeed, and who are not selfish, okay? There are very few, okay? Very, very few. Now, in 2020, when I met Dylan in person, I felt that he had the energy to protect you guys. Now, Dylan also mentioned many times that his intent is to be a businessman, okay? It's to get into different parts of business. He's a business mind. He's going to move into real estate. Potentially, he's going to move into this and that. So did I expect him to be with the Producer Grind brand the entire time? Not necessarily. My issue today is that this brand, the relic of the producer community, they have some of the greatest interviews of all time. Metro Boomin, Ryan Leslie's interview. Let me see their top videos real quick. Let's shout out all the top, like Metro Boomin. Nobody hates Metro. Everybody loves Metro Boomin. You know, the XXXTentacion producer, Jimmy Duvall, Lil Baby's producers, you know, some of the iconic ones. I remember Timbaland's DJ Toomps interview. You know, who else was kind of the top interviews here? Ryan Leslie was for sure one of the greatest interviews on there. Illmind, you know, Ant Chamberlain. Excuse me, Cardo Got Wings, one of the OGs of this all. You know, Palace. Okay, Charlie Rocket was a really good one too. Even KBZ is up here. Okay, download complete. So we got it complete. So guys, again, here's evidence, okay, that if this interview disappears from the Producer Grind channel, you know who did it. Okay, so I keep saying that because I want y'all to really understand what happens behind the scenes. Okay, so, and then Southside and everybody else. So let's talk about what this means to the producer community. What this means is when you change leadership, the intent of the company changes. Okay, Dylan had a pure heart. He truly just loved what he did. Okay, he came up, you know, with a really tough story. He made it work. He created from his intent. He made a vision, and now the vision is under control by somebody else. My issue is that now the intent behind the company changes. This channel has the world's greatest music producer interviews on the planet. It is a gold mine of culture for the producer community. Okay, and it just got sold to one of the scummiest, most low frequency business people of all time in this producer community. I've never seen a business person act the way this person does behind the scenes. Okay, and that person is Steven from CYMATICS. I want to say it 1,000 times. Steven from CYMATICS claims that he bought Producer Grind. He's now the CEO of Producer Grind. Now we got to be careful because I said this before. I said it doesn't mean the Producer Grind or Dylan was given $1 million and, you know, Dylan could just do his thing. Sometimes there's 3 deals. You have cash deal, cash and equity, or no cash, all equity. What that means is that I could be talking about Producer Grind, but Dylan may still be financially tied to Producer Grind. So I don't want to speak negative on Dylan's equity if it still exists. I don't know. He didn't make that clear to me, but it is confirmed that Producer Grind did a deal with CYMATICS. He has confirmed that. I had to ask him because I'm like, I don't want to speak on this before I truly confirm it. And also Steve from CYMATICS confirmed that it's on the CYMATICS YouTube page. Now, we all saw the marketing that CYMATICS was doing. Okay. It's the put out a royalty-free pack, act like you have limited quantities of an infinite good. Okay, raise the price artificially because you have limited quantity, pardon me. And then you raise the price $1 billion. You know, the business is working on half truths half the time. Okay, now the sound designers behind the company, amazing. Like Met Drew from CYMATICS. Super. Now I gotta say from, because he's not associated with the company anymore. Okay, he's his own company called Drew from Ado Sounds. He's a really good person. I just never had a chance to meet him in person when I went down to the CYMATICS podcast, when I had my podcast episode with them. So I never got to meet Drew. Oh, I thought, okay. I thought our evidence was happening in real time. That would have been so ironic. Okay. But anyhow, Drew from Ado Sounds is an excellent person. He's an excellent sound designer. He's an excellent teacher. He's an excellent content creator. He is the reason why CYMATICS was successful, along with their systems and, hiring their teams of folks. But Drew was the one who had the real intent behind CYMATICS. Okay. He had the I love sound. I'm here to make sounds for producers. I'm here to bring the best quality. Steven, when I met him in person, y'all, I'm being as honest as I could be here, is that when I met Steven in person, he was on like a handheld gaming device, like a Nintendo, probably Switch. I don't know the names of the things, playing like Mario Kart or something. So I'm like already thinking like, okay, he's not even like here to talk. Like we were trying to talk and it was so like, it was like talking to a freaking wall. Like I was trying to say stuff and he would just go off on random tangents and it was just weird. And I'm not here to judge his character as far as personality. It's more so to say, I never felt a resonating force between me and Steven. It was always like this, like talk for a minute, couple sentences, and then like it's over. It's like he just didn't want to talk. It was a weird energy. Now everybody else around him, Jake, he loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Jake was fun. His guy Jordan, shout out to Jordan. I don't know why Jordan blocked me. He must have felt some type of way too. Jordan was a really nice guy. I met Vincent, one of their freelancers at the time. I met I'm probably forgetting somebody, but I'm pretty sure those are all the people I met at the CYMATICS headquarters. And, I'll keep this story short because I just want y'all to understand. I never got the vibe on Steven from CYMATICS that he was a decent person. Okay. He might have had his business acumen together, but never a decent person, never a resonating point to go deeper, especially all the stuff that we had to deal with. So we have a lot of people here. So let's get to it. I want to show you guys a clip from my Producergrind interview where I literally called this out back 3 years ago. Okay. I called this moment today out 3 years ago. I want you guys to hear it before they take it down.
Thoughts on this? Okay. So you said, isn't it the same? Now I want to ask you, Dylan, have you ever heard of a concept called the economic hitman?
No.
I'll keep the story short because it's a very long, drawn out story. What happens is America will go to a struggling country like Haiti and be like, hey, we want to help Haiti out.
Who does that sound like? I'm going to pause it because this resonates in my soul, because it's almost like the creator gave me this vision years ago so that I could protect the producer community, because the creator knew ahead of time that some BS was going to happen. Okay, so what I just said to those who are kind of maybe not understanding the business concept is I just called CYMATICS getting close to Producergrind. Remember CYMATICS got close to Producergrind? Like Steven would show up on the podcast episodes and just be sitting there. I'm like, why is Steven there? Like at the Sunny Digital Talks. Why is Producergrind using Steven's studio to do content? Why is Steven trying to be all buddy giving advice to Producergrind? Because he was the economic hitman in this story. Okay, so we need to go back a little bit and run that back.
Story. What happens is America will go to a struggling country like Haiti and be like, hey, we want to help Haiti out. We're going to give out rice for free under our nonprofit company.
Who does it sound like?
They go to Haiti, they set up their shop, they give out rice. But what happens to the guys in Haiti who were selling rice? They get wiped out of business because America came by and gave it away for free.
Who does that sound like, chat? A company that gets right next to you acting like the good guy just to give all their stuff away for free to undercut your market to then take over your business. Who does that sound like? Okay, I'm gonna keep pause. Actually, I won't keep pausing. I'm gonna let it rock this time, but I'm just gonna rewind this and go back and point out my genius back then.
What happens is America will go to a struggling country like Haiti and be like, hey, we want to help Haiti out. We're going to give out rice for free under our nonprofit company. So they go to Haiti, they set up their shop, they give out rice. But what happens to the guys in Haiti who were selling rice? They get wiped out of business because America came by and gave it away for free.
Ha! Live on this stream. You guys just saw it in real time. I told you, Steven is a punk. He can't confront his enemies, and he knows that he is a sour, demonic almost businessman behind the scenes. You guys just saw what happened. He just erased producer culture like that. So if he'll delete my interview with Producergrind, what do you think he'll do with the other Producergrind interviews if he feels like somebody talks against CYMATICS? Boop, there it goes, vanishes from culture. Culture moment gone. You guys, we just proved it in real time. I told you that was going to happen. I told you that was going to happen. Luckily, I have the actual file because he's a punk. So we're going to play the actual file. Too bad, too late. We downloaded it. You can't stop the downloads. I should put this up on my website. You know what? I'm putting this up on my YouTube. And if he has a problem, I'm like, you're using my likeness. I did all the content in that video.
Yo.
I told y'all we called it live. Did I not call that? Exactly, because he's a coward.
I want them to open up to think, okay, Splice may offer me.
Let me find out where I was. It was like an hour.
But we should own it because we're the ones that use it and provide it. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
I guess what I'm trying to say is, who's the leader?
Who's the leader? I called this 3 years ago.
This is all about needs and supply and demand. I get that. But
let me figure out where I was.
Get paid on the 15th?
Chat, did y'all not just witness what I just called out? We have 170 people in here witnessing what this person will do to a company because he doesn't feel that it's in his best interest. We saw it. We saw it in real time. Steven, you just proved my point as to why you should not be running Producergrind. You just literally proved to everybody in this chat, to everybody watching the live stream, to everybody behind the scenes that you cannot confront your enemies. You hide information. You hide culture. You destroy culture. You just did it in real time. Why would we give you the keys to Producergrind, one of the top cultural icons in the producer community? Why would we give you that? Why would we ever have our industry producers give you gold so you can destroy it at any time you want to just because you don't feel like it? You just literally proved our point. Let me find out where I was, y'all.
And Todd gets to have his business now.
And I'm putting this clip on my, there he is in the chat. And I'm putting this clip on my channel. And I'm going to wipe the Producergrind so you can't claim the little trademark icon. I'm going to wipe the little, Dylan's freaking, shirt. Okay, and I'm putting this on my channel, Steven from CYMATICS, because you're a punk. We talked in real life and you're still a punk. You've been stealing my stuff for years because you can't figure it out. You're not creative. You need to leverage and leech off of everybody else because the vampire you are. Okay, so you can extract wealth from the producer community and never give it back because that's who you are.
Instead of just,
let's go all the way back and figure this out. I'll leave you in the chat. I'm not going to be a punk to block people in the chat. You can say whatever you want.
But it's just fear. It's really, okay. That's your life. Maybe a lot of people in the chat haven't seen that.
Where is this clip?
Top set it to make the whole machine operate. Story the Southside kid. I want the murder. So I just shout out to.
Let me find the part, y'all. Give me patience.
What I'm getting.
You said it was around an hour and 12. Okay.
Machine.
Say it again. Oh, a little pepper. I don't know.
All right, we found it. Thank you to
little red pepper emoji.
RS. He said an hour and 12.
You gotta give me time to get this out. I'll be a little bit long-winded, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. Okay. So you said, isn't it the same? Now, I want to ask you, Dylan, have you ever heard of
I'm going to play this clip. Y'all saw it in real time. We're going to play this clip. We have 180 people in here, and this word will get to all the real leaders behind the scenes. Okay? Not your little CYMATICS bought out content creators. We're talking about the real leaders behind the scenes. We'll have all of this conversation documented.
What's called the economic hitman?
No.
I'll shut up for the next.
Keep the story short because it's a very long, drawn-out story. What happens is America will go to a struggling country like Haiti and be like, hey, we want to help Haiti out. We're going to give out rice for free under our nonprofit company. So they go to Haiti, they set up their shop, they give out rice. But what happens to the guys in Haiti who were selling rice?
Mm.
They get wiped out of business because America came by and gave it away for free.
Mm.
And now once all the rice sellers are gone in Haiti, guess who set up actual business in Haiti? The American investors who came in to undercut everybody in the market, kill them off, and then set up their own business. This is called the economic hitman. This is why I had an issue with Steven from CYMATICS. Now, I want to preface it by saying I used to like Steven. We were on good terms, but he did something behind the scenes that a lot of people don't understand. I'll be short because this is spicy, but I introduced Steven had an issue with getting into the hip hop community. And again, he gives a lot of good advice. I don't want to ever bash the man. He's a cool guy. I mean, I thought he was a cool guy. So he comes in and it's like, hey, I want to get into the hip hop community. I was like, you know what? I can introduce you to Sound Oracle. Now, Sound Oracle is the producer of producers. He's sound design for Timbaland. He knows everybody. Everybody.
Can y'all see the
respects
video?
Sound Oracle. When you say Sound Oracle and you don't get into the room, there's a problem because Sound Oracle knows everybody. He's respected by everybody. So I said, let me introduce you to my friend Sound Oracle, my mentor Sound Oracle. Treat him well. Now, what happens after this? They do the hearts pack, the little charity pack, which is cool. Cool. That was a cool move. Great. Now, after that, mysteriously, without Sound Oracle's permission, CYMATICS puts out a free kit called Oracle.
Mm.
And I said, was Sound Oracle behind this? Now, I don't want to give out the details about the frustration behind the scenes, but there was frustration behind the scenes, okay? Because it's not a coincidence. You go from the hearts pack with Sound Oracle in it to now another pack like a week later called Oracle. What's happening that, for the people who don't understand what I'm saying, it's called indirect use of likeness. They're using the likeness of Sound Oracle because he was on their hearts pack, but without his permission, used his kind of pseudo likeness for this pack called Oracle. Now, Sound Oracle has a podcast called the Unquantized Podcast every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. During his podcast, he says nothing but gems all the time. Before it became a thing on your show,
yeah, some people have said that we stole that, and I love Sound Oracle. Shout out to Sound Oracle. And if I stole it, like if I adopt things that I like that other people are doing, I say it. You know what I mean? Maybe it was like a subliminal thing that I noticed it on Sound Oracles and I started saying it. But it definitely was like it wasn't an intentional like, oh, I'm gonna adopt that, I'm gonna start using that. And like I said, when I do things like that, you guys know I always give credit where credit is due. So that was confusing to me when I think it was like in a comment or whatever, someone had said something like that. But back to your story.
That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's how influential he is, right? He just taps into our subconscious, and we're doing what he does. And now we're saying gems, we're saying facts, putting a little facts emoji in the chat because that's who he is.
Oh, he started that too? Oh, shit. He's a GOAT then.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were in Atlanta, so maybe it's an Atlanta thing to it at one point. But my point is that they go from the hearts pack with Sound Oracle, who's actually in it and contributed, to another pack that Sound Oracle did not approve of called Oracle. And then another paid pack on top of this called Gems. What are the odds that Oracle and Gems would be released by this company right after a hearts pack? Now, when we confronted them about it, they said, oh, dude, people are just hating, man. Really? Or was it intentional?
Damn,
because it seems very intentional.
Was this? I missed this whole thing. Was this like a public thing where you guys were going back and forth about it?
I said it in a couple other live streams, but okay. I'm saying this to say that you guys don't understand. Like, there's really two factions, and I don't mean to be on your show causing dissonance between you and Steven, because I like Steven. I actually like everybody at CYMATICS.
No,
we just had an issue with
not Steven
specifically. I don't know Drew. I never met him. I like Jake. He's fun and awesome. There's an actual marketing genius on their team called Jordan. He does all the marketing. So anyway, besides the whole team, like I
copy a lot of stuff Jordan does. Then shout out to Jordan. But Steven's cool too, man. That's the only person I ever met too. But Steven, man, he dropped a lot of gems on me. Just little things, little nuances we've changed about, like, just the way our website functions and little upsells and things like that. So definitely big shout out to Steven.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, this is my perspective. This is not Dylan's perspective. Like they said on the show, the opinions of the commercial, not of the network.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion. So I want to share this story because people just don't understand the fight that I'm doing behind the scenes to protect the community, okay? Because you run into people like that in scenarios like that. Again, as a quick recap, you have the free hearts pack. Then you have using Oracle's likeness indirectly with the Oracle pack, which was free. Then you have the paid pack called Gems, which was shaved off like 50% off or whatever. What I'm trying to say is, if you apply the economic hitman theory to what was happening, they're doing the hearts pack to gather everybody's audience, which is fine. Then they're targeting the audience with a free pack called Oracle, which undercuts everything Oracle's ever done because it's free. They're gathering Sound Oracle's audience, okay? Then they do a paid pack, which is actually undercutting still in price from the Sound Oracle community called Gems. What they're doing is using his likeness to take his customers from him. And Let me pause here. As a business.
So if they've been doing this since 2020, inviting people to the podcast, doing packs with them to basically just leech off their audience, what do you think happens when CYMATICS buys Producergrind? What do you think their intent is? If they've been doing this since 2020, getting right next to people just to leech like a vampire. You ever had that person in your life you realize they're just around just because you're up and they want everything that you got? That's called narcissism. That's what it's called. That's the psychological word for that. And what we see over and over and over again is we saw it literally live stream. We have how many people here who witnessed that live stream? 180 people that witnessed that live. You guys literally saw my interview, the top interview on the live. I want to say this again. I was the top interview on the live page and it vanished. So what happens when Steven has a problem with Metro? You're just going to delete Metro's interview from the history and you're going to delete culture? That's my problem with CYMATICS owning Producergrind. Okay, they will literally destroy history, destroy culture. I think that company was passed over to somebody who not even in the producer community. Every time you watch Steven's videos on CYMATICS, he's dragging in loops because he can't produce. He was never a producer. He was a businessman disguised as a producer to try to trick everybody. I was actually surprised he even tried to make content because we know you're not a producer.
This perspective. And when they try,
and you just gave the keys to the kingdom over to somebody outside of the community. I called out Splice when they did this before. I called out the CTO of Splice. I said, hey, CTO of Splice, you know, what's your involvement in the music producer community? How did you become, you guys can look it up on Twitter. It's still up. I said, how did you get involved with, you know, the music producer community? He's like, you know, I used to DJ back in 1990 and, you know, I'd hoped I contributed to the producer community. I'm like, you're not in the producer community. You got money from Silicon Valley. And you bought the likeness of all the cool kids, the Boy Wonders, the whoever else was on Splice, Decap. I don't even know the people on Splice. And you use their coolness to sell your stuff because you can't get it yourself because you're not cool. What do? They leech off of culture. I said, okay, if that's the business plan, what's your plan of bringing back that monetization back to the culture? Do you hire, you know, producers from the community? Do you hire people of our, I went to Isotope's headquarters one time in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And I was shocked. They had sectors of 50 people here, 50 engineers, 50 marketing people, 50 project manager type people over here. And I'm like, I don't see anybody in this building that looks like us. Nobody in that building looked like anybody from the producer community. They all looked like they came from, you know, MIT's class of 2009. Nobody looked like they were from the producer community. I said, for a company that's selling almost everything to the producer community, you're telling me that money never goes back to the producer community as a hired person on staff? It never goes back through content creation and sponsorships. It never goes back to programs. It always just, you build products for a community, extract the wealth and disappear and leave the community in shambles. There's no infrastructure building. There's no, you know, that was my whole issue.
kind of beat around the bush like it wasn't the intention.
So we could watch this entire thing. I just want to hear the chat's point of view. But that's, you guys literally saw it in real time. I'm so glad we caught that on camera because he's a coward. He can't confront anybody that has opposition to him. Let's look at the poll on my community tab. Let's see what the community thinks. I said, CYMATICS just bought Producergrind. How do you feel about it? 56% of the chat says we'll see. Does that sound good? Does that sound like they're happy for that? No. 17% of the people said they're happy. 17%. What does that leave? 83% of the people are not sure about that business move. This is not, my opinion that I'm saying today is my opinion. This is not the opinion of Dylan. You know, we gave our praise to Dylan. Dylan has created awesome history and awesome everything. Dylan's awesome. We love Dylan. Everybody involved, J Beats, TB Digital. I know I'm kind of skipping over everybody who's involved with Producergrind initially, but when the CEO becomes one of the CEOs from the company that's not trusted, CYMATICS, you talking about the company that can't even make their own content. They have to go through Simon Servita and go through Ed Talenti and go through all these other people because they can't make their own content because they don't have a good name in the streets. They always got to use the avatar to clean up the reputation. Do you not see a pattern here? What does it sound like in history? Who's the person with a bad reputation? I'm trying to think. You know, maybe some polar people like Trump or something like this. I'm just saying Trump because it's top off my head. Because after the whole Capitol thing, let's just say he had a bad reputation. Who does he get next? Oh, Drake. Actually, let's associate this with Drake. I personally love Drake. But you know what happened with Drake and the Kendrick thing? As Kendrick said, who does Drake go to get a better reputation? Atlanta. He goes to Lil Baby. He goes to all the artists who actually have a good reputation and actually have the street credit and they're cool. That's who he goes to. Why? Because they have to clean up an image, a reputation. So standing by somebody is going to rub off on that person because it's called association. Okay? It's association. So if I stand next to somebody who's holy, like a TD Jakes, and I'm like a, whoever, I stand next to TD Jakes, that's PR to say, hey, I'm cleaning up my image. The reputation of TD Jakes was now passed on to Busy Works Beats because I stood next to him. This is exactly what's happening with CYMATICS. Okay, CYMATICS realized their reputation's not good. They keep doing the same business thing. Okay, the 500 limited quantities of the thing that's digital, which can be multiplied forever. Okay, fake scarcity, basically lying to you about scarcity. That's a lie. There's not 500 copies of a digital product. Okay, there's not 500 of them, and that's only one of the many things. So all I'm saying to you guys is I want you guys to really question the leaders behind the scenes. This is a spiritual game. It's about intent. Okay, it's not about who's in the front. Because Ed Talenti was in the front. Simon Servita was in the front. Lucian was in the front. But the spirit of CYMATICS was fueling those people. What happened when Simon realized he could make his own course and make his own money? Did he keep putting loops in his videos? I don't know. Maybe he did. I'm not hating on Simon Servita. I'm actually saying the opposite. I'm saying we love Ed Talenti. We love Simon Servita. We love, all the people that I mentioned. I'm saying that it's not about them. It's about the intent behind them. Who is fueling them? That's what I'm getting to. This is not hate. I want to make that clear. Right? Simon Servita is very nice. I met him in Canada. Super nice guy. So I want to make that super clear. So what do you guys think? I just want to hear your take as we saw live. Okay. What happened? This is what narcissists do. So let's see what you guys are thinking. Yeah, shout out to Simon. I've been schooled, did not know about all this beef with CYMATICS, and I didn't say CYMATICS and Splice, but happy to learn about that. Thank you for shedding light on these companies who don't have any folks from the producer community. I mean, think about it. Is that helping the community by giving us a product we don't really need just to extract the thing that we actually need, which is money, and that money never comes back to the system? That's leeching at its highest level. So I'm reading your comments here. Just because K-Dot said that, does it mean it's true that Drake didn't have a better reputation? I mean, I would agree that I think the consensus that people kind of lost respect for Drake. Just reading the room on that one. TD Jakes. Hotwire, let me see. Hotwire, the basic public affairs, getting influencers to promote your product. I don't know what that means. Slayton says, that's why I follow you. You're exposing the real picture behind every music industry or music producer. Thank you. I hope you guys remember today. And let me tell you guys some stories that aren't, publicized. Behind the scenes, when Jay Beats left Producergrind, I said, something's going down. Something's happening in Producergrind that's not good. And I'm not putting this on Dylan. I'm trying to separate Dylan from this whole story stuff. Is that when I saw Jay Beats leave Producergrind, I realized that in that system, the people who kind of put in the work, who were there, might not have felt respected, okay, for building the brand, for being the front of the brand, okay? They're the front men, they're the avatar, they're the forefront, front-facing people. But the spirit who runs the front-making people was rubbing them wrong, okay? So they had to leave in this case. And once I saw Jay Beats leave as a host, and then it was just TB Digital, I said, something's up. You can't have one man trying to drive Producergrind who wasn't even the original founder of Producergrind. I said, something's up. And then all the Producergrind interviews were like months apart. And let me say something to Steven, because I know Steven's still listening and watching, because narcissists love to hear the name. They don't even care that they're the villain. But I'm glad that all the leaders of the producer community know this. Okay, I'm so glad that they can see behind the scenes what actually happens. Because let me show you guys something. Producergrind was pumping. They were going, right? They had, let me scroll all the way back. They had our guy, Verse. Let me think. I think it started around Turbo. So they had Turbo. They had Verse on. They had, who else here? DJ Spins, who made the Spins 808. OG Parker, London J. They had Go Grizz back then. They had Sunny Digital pop in, Timbaland, okay? And then after Timbaland happened, then it was a flood of just top producers. Hitmaker showed up. Don Cannon popped in. Metro Boomin popped in. DJ Drama. Taz Taylor tried to squeeze his way in. to get some of that likeness. Okay. Hit Boy hopped in. Southside hopped in. Boy Wonder. Cardo got wings. And then guess what happened? Steven from CYMATICS had an interview, and I said, this is the end of Producer Grind. Why would they give light to Steven from CYMATICS? I said, this marks the end. And guess what happened? No interviews after that point for months and months and months and months until recent when Go Grizz popped in. You want to know why there's no interviews for a year? It's because the people who don't respect this dude behind the scenes are like, why would I go on a platform where they just gave this man a mic? Why would they go on that platform? That's why there was no interviews for almost a year on Producer Grind. Just from this man showing his face, he didn't even own it back then. He just showed his face and nobody showed up. You want to know why? Because his reputation is not good with the leaders of the producer community. And nobody popped in. Now, Sunny Digital probably doesn't understand the behind the scenes stuff that goes on, but he's just kind of like there to be supportive. So he kind of filled in the gaps. And then Go Grizz popped in. And then now you see all types of people popping in. Cody had an interview. I don't have smoke for Cody. I don't know why Cody wanted to defend Weaver Beats out of all people when I had an issue with Weaver Beats. I'm like, you're defending a man who literally put another man's child in his video and let 1,200 people talk against a man's family. You're defending that man, Cody. It just shows me how weak these men are. They're not even men. They're just boys who have a skill and get paid for the skill. They're not men. They're not leaders. And you guys need to understand this. I think, and also a tip they gave me, a tip was when Producer Grind started getting really close with producer culture. I was like, why are they letting this producer culture person on the show? I just didn't understand. I'm not talking crap against producer culture. I'm just saying I didn't understand why it was like a collab all the time, like collab Producer Grind with collab producer culture. Like I was like, y'all could do your interviews separate. And once I saw that happen, and I'm like, something's happening behind the scenes where, you know, I didn't see TB as much. I was like, something's happening at Producer Grind, and I don't think it's a good thing. And now we see Producer Grind bought out, not for the culture, not because Steven CYMATICS loves producers, not because he wants to save the culture, not because he actually cares about the content and wants to make better content, not because he cares about the guests. He wants to leverage all the good reputation of all these people who poured their life into these interviews to help people who actually care, producers who actually do this for their living, because God gave them a gift to express, not because they're just trying to do it for money. And I'll tell you, the intent behind CYMATICS buying out Producer Grind is distribution and distribution only. They're doing this to clean up the reputation and distribute the product that nobody truly wants. Because CYMATICS had an issue. They could never truly get into the hip hop space. That's why when I introduced CYMATICS to Sound Oracle, my mentor, and they treated him badly, I was like, how would you treat the person who got you into an entire market badly? Their reputation was not good to come into hip hop. It was, remember back then, CYMATICS was all EDM loops and Skrillex type stuff. It was never hip hop stuff. It was never trap stuff. It was never any of that because nobody believed them. They were too outside the culture. So once I introduced them to Sound Oracle, then you started seeing them slowly get into hip hop. Okay, and that was off of my introduction to Sound Oracle to give them the go ahead to say to everybody else, okay, it's cool to work with this company. They're not just trying to leech. That's what I thought at the time. And I had to pull that back very quickly. And you guys saw it on the Producer Grind interview that I just showed you. What I'm going to do is upload the entire interview to my channel because he's a punk and deleted history of the culture. Somebody who's literally trained over 1 million producers around the world. Someone going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Trippie Redd, Polo G, Lil Baby, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and on. I've literally taught these boys the game to even be on the podcast. And you delete the man who actually taught the people who come on the podcast from your thing. Because like that, you could delete culture. What's up, TB? TB, I was giving you praise. This is no shade to TB Digital. I was saying that you basically were holding up Producer Grind for a long time. And I was saying once I saw Jay Beats leave Producer Grind, I said, something's up behind the scenes. You know, TB's trying to live his life. He's not trying to run, like he's not trying to do everything. And I was saying how you're you know, what they call a business unicorn. So I'm basically telling everybody, in my opinion, Steven from CYMATICS buying out Producer Grind is not a good thing. We literally witnessed it, TB. I had an interview on Producer Grind's channel from 2020. And on this live stream, TB, it got deleted. Magically, it just vanished into thin air. My interview just calling out Stephen from just disappeared out of nowhere. It just vanished. The video is unavailable. We saw it live. I was playing it from the YouTube and it just disappeared. Wonder who deleted it. I wonder who made it private. I wonder, oh, Stephen from CYMATICS. Because he will delete culture like this. He does not care about the culture. He just proved it on the interview, on this live stream, I mean. Something says the company named Gigastar tried to buy 40% of my brand last week. I declined. Shout out to you getting offers. But my point, guys, is that it's not a money play. It's not how much money did Producergrind make. It's not how much money was exchanged. It's the fact that the intent of the person now running the company is not worried about the culture. They will destroy the culture. So where does this lead us? Now all the gold, the gems of Producergrind now flush down the toilet because now we have somebody outside of the producer community, Stephen from CYMATICS, okay, who poses as a music producer, okay? It's still on the screen now. What's that mean? Now he runs Producergrind's brand, which means now all that culture is at risk. This reminds me of when Dame from, Rockefeller Records, Dame Dash from Rockefeller Records, he was about to sell Jay-Z's stake, or, his stake of Jay-Z's, what was it, Dead Presidents or something like that. Or his first album. I don't know why I'm going blank on the album. Jay-Z's first album. Somebody help me in the chat. My brain ain't working. They Not Like Us. This is a pure example of They Not Like Us. And like I said on Dylan's thing, I said, I actually said this in the interview, so let me pull it up.
We're looking to get into. We can't think.
Truth teller. Is that what happened? Are they trying to silence the truth teller? Reasonable doubt. That's it. So Dame Dash tried to sell his stake of reasonable doubt, and apparently he couldn't find a buyer. And so the issue that Lupe had, for example, was that if anybody buys reasonable doubt, you're giving away the culture to somebody who's not from the culture. That's the problem. That's what happened with Producergrind. Let me load up FL real quick. Hotwire, trying to hotwire the mic. They got crash dummies in the chat. TB says, let me read TB's chat. Hold up. I lost the screen. Hold up. TB says, let me in here. I'll clear all this up before I go to play basketball. Just make videos, enjoy the rest of my day. How do we do that? Do we do a Zoom or? Now, why would Steven hop in the chat? So TB, let me say this to you, because you're a brain, so you understand. So you might not know that Steven from CYMATICS hopped in here. He wasn't saying, hey, let me hop in, let me explain myself. Why is TB more loyal to the Producergrind than the man who just bought Producergrind? Do y'all see the evidence here? The man who bought Producergrind will not stand up for his name, will not stand up for Producergrind, because his only goal is to get more distribution through Producergrind to sell more stupid kits. That's it. It's not to increase the culture, make it better, preserve the culture. We just saw him destroy the culture in real time. It's not to lift TB up. It's probably to keep TB down, honestly. You know what you do when you have competitors? You buy them out. Why do you buy out your competitors? Because you can keep them on your watch. Why do you keep them on your watch? Because you can always be in the lead if you keep them under your foot. TB, you've always had the power to do your own thing. I said this to Dylan. I'm like, TB's kind of like running it. And Dylan acknowledged that. This is no shade to Dylan. So at some point, we got to acknowledge our power. I don't even know how to invite you on YouTube. I'm not sure how that would work. Outside of Zoom, maybe. Let me figure out this mic situation, though. Hold up. Check. Let me load up my template. Maybe that'll fix it. Hey, you said volume's low. Check. Can y'all hear me? I'm being so obnoxious. Hold up. Let me fix this real fast. Why is my audio not working? Can y'all hear me now? Is the volume good? What's up, Marty Menning? Magically, all my audio's not working. Is that the devil trying to keep me quiet? Oh man, how the devil works. When truth is told, guess what the devil does? Tries to silence it. So let me see about this mic. Hold up. Actually, I'll just do it a different way. Can y'all hear me though? I'm not like screaming in your ear. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Just give me a sec. Check, check, check. As my son is being as loud as he can be. Check, check, check. There we go. Y'all should be able to hear me now. So all I'm saying is, look, y'all saw the evidence live. TB had more energy to crash out for Producergrind than the man who just bought Producergrind. So who cares more? TB, who actually built up the culture, or the forces that went to buy Producergrind so they can just make more money off the producer culture and never bring it back? That's all I'm saying, TB. It's nothing to you. It's nothing to attack you. Will everybody acknowledge TB in the chat? Make a Discord or a Zoom call. That's a good idea. Discord. You know, we should take this to Discord. I didn't think about that. Yeah, stage maybe. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, give me a second. And I'm gonna shut my mouth, TB. If you come up here to explain, I will give you the entire floor. I already said what I had to say about the topic. I know you're gonna have to rewind to see a lot of it, but yeah. So y'all guys want TB on here? Is that gonna be cool with y'all? Am I shouting in the mic? Just give me like a yes if y'all want him on. If not, then we'll see about it. Now, also too, before we bring TB on, man, there's so much to tell y'all. This is why I usually keep it to myself, the behind the scenes stuff. BeatStars, I found out, was behind the whole Lemonade launch with software audio stuff with the little AI models of DJ Pain 1 and Kato and all them. And I was like the only black face on there, which I was like, okay. Interesting. So TB basically is the face of producer. Like, he's the face of Producergrind, I would say. All right, let's do a stage here. Are you on our Discord? Here, I'll link you to our Discord. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I'm being all janky. I didn't expect TB to pop in, so give me a sec. Let's see if FL wants to work here. Hold up. Check, check, check. Wonder why FL's not getting audio though. That's super weird. It's probably Josh playing with the buttons behind the scenes. Told y'all. Hold up. Check. There we go. Whoa, that's how loud I am. I was screaming in you guys' ears that whole time. Nobody said anything. That is loud. Whoa. Let's turn that down. Y'all could have told me I was that loud. Nobody was going to tell me I was that loud. Dang, that was loud. It might be the compressor though. Okay, so we got that working. Check, check, check.